saying this. I don't consider woo to be a valid religion. If you consider like any kind of science denial or fact denial, it's not a religion. Evolution and religion can science and religion period can coincide. For me, science was always a study of how God did it. The Bible just said that God did it, and that's the way it was taught to me. And when people are like, "Oh no, evolution," the Bible is against evolution. I'm like, where? Like,
Yeah.
because for all I can see from evolution deniers is that all they do is shit on evolution. There's no science of creationism. I mean, if there is, let me know. Like, I'll happily rescind that stance, but I don't see it.
Yeah, I would like the evidence if it's there, but that's what indoctrinated me. That's why I like going after like spirit science and stuff. When that's what I was into when I was young, and what the kind of beliefs that that I tried to force myself to have, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I've
need
been like
weed
all
for
over the
this.
place.
There are episodes of Spirit Science which we watched which we're gonna be watching here that
Yes.
he talks about other drugs and stuff, or he talks about hallucinogens and things like that. But we're not going to talk about that tonight. Do you want to start with? We both picked a Spirit Science video to cover, so we're like tag teaming Jordan today. I
Yeah, so
think
we have
yours is one.
nature of the soul, and yours is decentralized globalism.
Yeah, mine is it gets a little political. So if you want to
I
watch
love
yours first,
political. Yeah, we can do that first, and then I
the
think we can do the
metaphysics of
hard. We can do
policy.
the heavy stuff first, and then talk about the soul and get the lighter stuff out of the way.
Do I see Dick Dawson out
Oh
there?
my gosh, that is
Hey,
awesome!
Dick.
Best stick in the internet. This is
Yeah, this
true.
is what. If anybody has never seen it, this is what Jordan looks like in real life. Like what Spirit Science looks like in real life.
All right, are you ready to Jordan?
Yeah, just messing with my camera.
If you ever have doubts about an Illuminati global
Ooh, can you hear that?
I could.
All right, if there's any echo, everybody let me know because again, new system, and I don't know
Yeah, we're learning this
if
new system.
if everything's configured correctly.
control agenda, just remember that many years ago, Walter Cronkite, the most trusted man in America, once said this at a World Federalist Association meeting.
Pat Robertson has written in a book a few years ago that we should have a world government.
I am getting an
but
echo.
only when the
Okay,
Messiah arrived.
you should be able to hear.
He wrote that literally, any attempt to achieve world order before that time must be the work of the devil.
So is that better?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
100%.
awesome.
All right.
I hear Walter.
Well, join me. I'm glad to sit here at the right hand of Satan.
When I first saw that clip, it got me thinking about everything that's going on right now. From the micro to the macro view, what we're experiencing in our day-to-day, and the big picture of our evolution as a species over not just this next decade, but the next 100 and even potentially 1,000 years. There's a dark part to this story, and there's also a very light part. And this video intends to illuminate them both. Enjoy, and I'll see you at the end.
All right, let's
The New World Order.
Oh God, we're just
Whether you
starting with
believe
the
in it or
Illuminati.
not, fear it or revere it, it's coming. The trans-
And I love these New World Order things. So normally when I hear New World Order, all I hear is Jews are the devil.
So they're using like a vague skull and bone society iconography, right? Like the it's not exactly the skull and bone society, but it's very close to that. So it has that ominous feel to it.
Yeah.
I don't know why the one in the middle is triangle is upside down though. I think one of his
Oh,
friends would fix it for him.
right.
I mean,
transformative
seriously, like
changes to
if you were wearing
technology.
your hoods, if you were wearing your hoods to your cult meeting, and one of your friends wore their hood upside down, would you fix it for him, or would you just let them walk around like that?
I
You would
don't
let them
know.
walk
Like, I
around
mean,
for a little bit.
girls obviously would be like, "Oh my God, you have a hair out of place," but guys, would they just be like, "Good enough. It's not going to affect the ritual."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, he's getting a little guy anyway. Well, one of the friends is because he's not the one with the upside down one.
So yeah, and I'm interested to see what this is because all of our rituals include babies. So what ritual includes like a fully functioning human male? It's
Yeah.
just weird.
Technology alone have ensured a new reality for all of humanity to share. But as for the end result, in terms of what it looks like, do we actually have a choice in the outcome? You're likely aware of the numerous conspiracy theories
Ooh,
surrounding the deep state,
reptilians!
secret government.
Oh
or
yeah,
Illuminati,
well, you
or
know, we
believe-
knew they were coming around the time that we saw the pyramid and the reptilian eye.
Oh wait, we got some "Don't Tread on Me." It's like global "Don't Tread on Me." That's good stuff right there.
Oh right. Well, I think it's a snake because is that to signify the reptilians?
Well, because there's no rattle on the tail though. I guess it's supposed to be a stranglehold of on the globe, like a serpent stranglehold on the globe.
believed to be facilitating all of the world events, orchestrating society on a phenomenal scale by influencing the most elite from the most powerful nations of the world. These people are believed to make up a secret society who for generations have slowly steered the direction humanity has gone, using wars, censorship, pandemics, and terrorist attacks.
Censorship?
to find-
Oh my God. He just said censorship and then had a picture of, what do you call it? Zuckerberg. And
Yeah.
I'm like, which is interesting because, like, if you look at who Facebook, I don't want to say censors, but like they actually push right wing propaganda and hold back on actual facts.
Yeah,
like-
Facebook is it's to an age demographic which tends
Yeah.
to be more right leaning. So yeah,
Mhm.
but the thing I like about Facebook is you can see this cringy boomer comedy stuff that they have. These old comic strips, that are
Right.
Like,
Right.
bit like Ben Garrison. You ever see a Ben Garrison comic strip? Oh,
No. What? Like what
oh
kind
goodness.
of?
Okay, I know what I'm doing to bug you next time.
Oh,
so.
hell. I'm
yeah.
sorry. I meant, yes, I know all about.
finally reach their goal of creating a one world government. Presidents and political leaders have spoken of the New World Order on numerous occasions, and the Summit of World
Oh,
Billionaires at the
they're
World
aliens.
Economic Forum have
course
rolled
they
out
are.
with their intentions
And
for a
Jews.
foundational
Let's not forget
rewrite of
Jews.
society called the Great Reset. The word that gets thrown around often is globalism.
Globalism is another
Globalism
word
can
for
mean
Jews.
different things to different people. At a neutral level, it's an ideology based on the belief that people, goods, and information ought to be able to cross national borders unfettered. However, politically,
And a lot of people don't. I don't want you guys to think like I'm being anti-Semitic. Jordan certainly is. He's putting a really nice face on all of these terms. But if you listen to anybody who listens to Tucker Carlson, they conflate globalism, elite, New World Order,
Central
with
bank.
yeah, all of these things mean Jews. When you hear this coming from somebody who just sounds like a complete fucking idiot, these are the people that they're talking about. Like that's the group. They are all anti-Semitic tropes. And you have an obligation now to call them out on that shit because you're all thoroughly educated on it.
it's considered a policy in which the entire world is regarded as the appropriate sphere for a state's influence. The term is commonly used in a negative way, addressing the one world government that Walter Cronkite mentioned at the beginning. It's a little like the Empire in Star Wars. But
Oh,
again,
there you go.
Illuminati or not, over the next decade, new social systems are
These are
being
facts.
implemented that will foundationally influence how we live our
That's
lives.
socialism right
Whether
there.
it's traveling internationally or
Did you
just
see his
going to
pineapple phone?
No, that's
was-
just
it
social
wasn't-
media.
It wasn't an Apple phone. It had a pineapple on the back of it, but it's like it's social.
What did that mean? Why is it? Oh, instead of it. Oh, okay. It's supposed to be an Apple phone, but he doesn't want to get sued 6 ways from Sunday, so he put a pineapple on it. Which, yeah, Jordan's smarter
Oh.
than we give him credit for.
He should have hit. How are we finding places where Jordan could have hid secret messages that he didn't find, or maybe he did? Maybe the pineapple is important to the story.
I'm surprised they didn't put a picture of a Jew with a big nose on the back of
Like
it.
Star David.
So, like,
Jew
he's getting,
phone.
I'm serious. He's getting so bad lately, especially like, and he's really been pushing anti-vax and anti-Semitic, like every type of anti-Semitic trope lately. It's really disgusting.
influence how we live our lives. Whether it's traveling internationally or just going to dinner, the structure of society itself is being rewritten, and the pandemic is the means by which these changes have been initiated.
Here we go.
And it's only going to keep on going.
Oh.
Systems are the foundation of human society. Whether it's financial systems or communication systems, technology itself is
That
a
money was
reflection
running
of our
right towards us in the
imagination
live stream.
given form.
Wait, what was?
So that money was streaming right towards us in the live stream. We're on the other side in the studio, but we're on that side where the coins were going towards.
Oh, yeah.
In the creation of systems to help us live. And today, there are supportive and detrimental systems that we live by using these technologies that we've made. We must see that many of them are out of date and are growing ready for a deep renewal, whether we like it or not. from education systems to factory farming, or the financial systems that we use. They're incredibly delicate, mostly because of the use of fiat
Dogecoin.
currencies, money that is not tied to any
Yeah,
valuable
I-
physical resource, such as gold or silver.
So I find that a lot of conspiracy theorists like,
Bitcoin and stuff.
yeah, like the what do you call it? The something currency.
Uh,
Wow.
like I would, if I was to name it, I would call it neo
Cryptocurrency. God
But yeah,
damn.
crypto is the. It has this weird. Yeah, there. Jason had it.
Thank
right?
you, Jason.
Jason probably got it before you even said it.
Oh, I'm
Jason
sure,
probably-
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I
I'm just
couldn't
like,
think
wait,
of
it's
it.
something currency, the cryptocurrency, and it is insane. Like even I've been seeing a lot of psychics mention it. Even the astrologers, like where they do the zodiac charts, like they'll even talk about cryptocurrency. And I can really see cryptocurrency being big this year. And I'm like, why are you pushing this shit? But you can kind of tell where different people get their media from because it definitely influences their take on the economy. And Jordan, God bless him, bless his heart,
Bless your heart.
listens to a lot of right wingers I'm seeing, and so you can like really tell where his people are getting their information from.
It's a very libertarian take on currency and markets.
Yeah.
Is what it represents. I think. That's my opinion on it. And let's see what Jordan's opinion is on it.
Fiat currencies come with rising inflation and interest that also keeps the debt-based system growing indefinitely. These out-of-date systems perpetuate an older consciousness from generations that no longer apply to the world that we have. And I believe today, humanity is starting to realize that.
I'm
William
agreeing
Blake
with him
once
here
wrote,
Okay.
about the currency stuff. I mean, really, I don't disagree that our economic system is based on archaic ideas that are not necessarily fit for the modern world. So I agree with you there.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh-oh.
yeah, they're. I'm not going to get off on a tangent. It's just going to be a rabbit trail.
Yeah.
I will
We're gonna get-
not. I will not disagree.
He's trying to distract us with cryptocurrency discussion, which we both have. I know we both have strong opinions on. So
Yes, and this is he's prefacing us because I haven't seen this all the way through. I can tell he's like trying to lead up to something else, and I'm kind of curious right now to see where he's going with this.
I must create a system or be enslaved by another man's. Interesting that so many of us are living by systems, including belief systems, that have been passed down from generation to generation, rarely questioned or evolved, until now, as the age of the internet has brought information to everyone. And as a result of this very creation, its next evolution is creating one of the biggest shifts in personal wealth that the world has ever seen.
Oh, he's right there. He's
Now,
right
this
there.
might seem on the contrary to the control agenda that we've spoken on, as today many are speaking out
He's
that
gonna
their
take it-
freedoms
oh,
are
he's
being
got-
stripped away.
What are you saying?
Facebook again. I'm just noticed because he talked about Zuckerberg earlier. There's Facebook again. Jordan has beef with Facebook, right? I mean, I'm
So
seeing it.
yeah, when we were trying to like find videos, I did see quite a few videos where he has beef with YouTube too, because YouTube keeps just completely removing his videos for misinformation, and it's pissing him off.
Well, he should probably think about when he does the misinformation, or all he has to do the like you were talking about the astrological people. All they do is put a little disclaimer at the end of their video that says this is for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah,
All he has to do is that.
he won't because he's speaking truth to power. But and it's really funny here where he shows like the Facebook icon when he had it more right when he was showing Zuckerberg's face. Like he's gonna I don't know, like he's taken a social, like the problem is social media, and I'm like there's a deeper thing to that. Like, why are the social media apps doing this? Like it's not like Facebook and YouTube are their own personal entities and they do this just to fuck with human beings, right? They're actual oligarchs who are doing this, who are fucking with us for money. And he's bypassing all of that to bitch about being censored by for peddling bullshit.
Wouldn't it be great if the implication at the end of this video was that Facebook and YouTube and all these social media platforms are now sentient entities of their own and they're battling for control of the human race?
And or like to go back to the three entities before, if they were just like it's like, they take off the hood and it's just like this YouTube and its entity and this Instagram
Facebook.
entity. Like,
All the different platforms.
they're not humans at all. They're just controlling us. They're
Twitter.
fake with the marionette strings. Like, God. And then, in his like little smooth-brained head, like that's exactly what's going on. And I'm just like, I'm so mad because I'm like, you're right there. He has 1 million followers, and like, that's just YouTube. Like, he's on all the things, and I'm like, you know what? You have the voice that could help us rise up and overcome and come up against our actual oppressors. And no, you're just gonna bitch about the phone app.
They're censoring me. That's everybody's big problem these days.
Censored. Everybody help. Like, please feel sorry for me and give me money. Asshole.
with censorship limiting even what we can discuss online. If people rise up in revolt, they could face arrests and charges.
Against who, Jordan? Against who? What are we, like...
Who are we resisting? Yeah,
Seriously.
come on. Say the quiet part. Let's...
Like, I mean, like, he's talking about social media apps. He's talking about the Illuminati. Like...
I want to think that he's trying to say it's the oligarchs, but he's... And if that's the case, then
that
say
hasn't even
it.
come up once. He's shown a lot of things. And, like, you know, the 1%... I mean, he showed Zuckerberg's face. Like, that was the closest he's come to actually being on point.
Yeah, pointing to somebody and saying...
But, like, he actually just meant Zuckerberg's face as a euphemism for Facebook. Because they censored him, and he's pissed. He's just
Personal vendetta.
Like, here's the point, and then there's you. Ugh. Idiot.
If even more people rose up in mass, it's likely the army would get involved and martial law would ensue. People don't generally want that. And while protests are popping up more and more these days, with people growing dissatisfied about how things are, the vast majority of people often
were those
stay in their
Canadians?
lane.
I don't know. Did you see a bunch of people saying sorry?
No, I thought I saw maple flags.
Oh, no, Canadians don't revolt. They
They say
just
sorry.
politely apologize for upsetting you.
More these days, with people growing dissatisfied.
Oh, hey, look at that. It's probably a parade.
Those
Canadians
gotta be
don't revolt.
Canadians. Yeah, it's just a Canadian parade, y'all. Maybe this is
Like,
the
you know,
truck
for
thing.
us, like, we had to let, was it King George know that we were thoroughly pissed off. Like, we were throwing shit into the harbor and, you know, like, taking up arms and shooting, like, killing people. You know, it's like, no, we're going to have our own constitution. And the Canadians were just like, you know, we don't really like this anymore. We don't need you. And so if you could just stay over there, that would be really nice for us. No. Just stay over there. Thank you. Like, you know, like, they're just... I'm very certain that this is just a parade. Because they even revolt politely.
They did have the truck thing, though. The trucker...
Oh, yeah, that
revolt thing.
was totally our fault. Because we are so emotionally unstable that we fuck with other people's economies and rile up other people's right-wing arms as well. And we've been doing that with... I know Britain and Canada really badly. So if there are any Canadians in the chat, on behalf of my entire country, I'm so sorry. And if there are any Brits in there, you had it coming. It's, you know, just saying. We won't pretend.
About how things are, the vast majority of people often stay in their lanes, keep their heads down, and pray that something changes for the better. And those prayers, from what it looks like, may have been answered. Emerging from the depths of society and developed around the world, almost as if an immune response from the collective, we have a new technology emerging called the blockchain. You've probably heard about it. People are starting to recognize it for what it is. Not just a new form and method of currency, but a digital and decentralized means of exchange, a platform of decentralization that allows for varying degrees of systems to be created that are free of the issues of centralization. This technology, however, is not just a form of online exchange,
There's
because in a
Bitcoin.
way, it's becoming the
we knew that was
backbone
coming.
of a new kind of internet, Internet 3.0, a somewhat decentralized internet that combines the on-screen.
This is new for me. So I'm not in the New Age community the way I used to be, obviously. But I really thought he was going to go with 5G.
Yeah, that could have been a direction.
You know what? We're only 6 minutes in. It's totally possible it'd be mentioned.
Yeah, we're not even halfway yet, so...
the AR and the VR together, and it's going to explode out on us like you wouldn't believe. The question is,
Probably.
how will it be adopted by society, by the governments? How will the decentralized and the centralized
I think
merge
that
together?
Spirit Science NFTs would probably do all right.
Probably,
0.25 AR.
Well, I remember when the
0.25
Trumps
AR.
tried their hand at it and weren't very successful. But I do think Jordan could possibly...
It seems more like his niche than Trump's, though. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he would market it. I mean, Trump I don't know. It was just kind of like, hey, here's the thing that people are doing. And the thing with Trump is like he wouldn't know how to make a success out of something if I can't even say he tried. Like everything he does fails. It's like he has like the anti-Midas touch. Like
Everything he
seriously,
touches turns to
shit. Yeah, including our country. And so I don't know. Like Jordan seems to have more. Like if he were to take something like this on, I think he would put more time and effort into it. So yeah, I think he would be more successful with it.
Or affect each other. The faster we go, the more messy it will be. But if we create a pathway of transition, 50 to 100 years, then it may be more gentle than if everything shifts in only the next 10 years or less. But while faster may be more deadly, it also could be far more efficient.
This is weird.
Are we skipping?
I don't know what's going on.
We are talking about reconfiguring the financial markets of the entire world here. And this is not a small
Greenland
task.
has its own Bitcoin flag.
But see, this video isn't necessarily about finances.
Wait a minute. Weren't we talking about a one world order? Is Bitcoin going to be the new one world currency? Is that what do you think? Is that where he's going with this?
I don't even know if he's pro or anti-Bitcoin at this point because he's like, talking about the decentralized currency. So I think he's going to try to sell us Bitcoin.
I think
at this
so.
point.
Like I really do. Yeah, I think he's like going a cryptocurrency route. You know.
Yeah, I think he's.
But
seems
to
be
say
his
whether
direction.
he's saying that it's going to come from this like new world order, which is something that they're all anti. So you know they don't want a one world system, and because that would mean open borders. God forbid.
Well, let's see what's going on.
Or crypto. But those are a part of this conversation. Moving in the direction of new systems that are universally designed is great, because the world is more connected than ever thanks to technology. You could almost say a great reset was needed, and could take us in a very natural direction as a species. That is, if the power was shared, at least to a degree, if we had a more decentralized world. This is not to say that we'll have to dissolve nations and borders to make this work.
Oh man, he did.
Of all the countries,
We're
all
gonna
the
have a one
countries.
world government, but we're still gonna have our borders. Don't you worry. Holy shit!
just of all the countries they could have picked for that scene, Poland.
I,
You
you know, we're gonna keep going.
yeah.
Who knows what
There's a
that's
lot.
going to look like in the future? But for all of us to become global citizens, world people, what kind of evolution of consciousness would be required?
Why the fuck would you need countries and borders if you are one like the citizens of the same nation? I don't know. I mean, it's like states, right? Like we have the right to travel freely.
Between
Even the brown people. I don't. Yeah, and and actually, now that I bring that up, that is exactly why we will never have that. And people who feed Jordan these narratives are never going to because they have no idea what's actually going on. For the world to work on this capitalist systems, in order for there to be, you know, these strong, prosperous countries, like I don't know. I mean, there doesn't have to be third world nations, but in their minds, they think there has to be. And the oligarchs will never allow everybody to be on the same playing field. They believe that they were divinely chosen by God, and you shall know this because they have the money and the things. And the way that they recognize the chosen people are, you know, the 1% who has all of the money and the wealth and the things.
They want to have a serf class. They think
there needs to be a serf class. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and they've always thought this way. Like, I think it's the Middle Ages, or I forget when, but yeah, back in, definitely in the Middle Ages, they had a maximum wage. You were legally forbidden from paying your workers too much money because I don't know, apparently it would make them too uppity. You know, we don't want them thinking that there's like class mobility or anything like that. Like, you know, they must know their place. And if you have too much money for too long, then you'll start to think that you're in my place.
It's like if they think their kids are going to compete with my kids,
Yeah,
need to
fuck
make sure
you.
they understand that's not going to happen.
Right.
That's not.
And it's
that's not
still
in the
that
cards.
same mindset that is kind of driving the world today, and why you still see, like, there's no reason for us to deny Africa COVID vaccines, except that we're dicks. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, it's just, I mean, so the whole thing, like, and I'm off on this, like, political tangent because, one, you picked the video. I want this to be known. I know that I'm so political. Free chose this video. I chose the Soul video.
And I just to be clear, just to be completely and utterly clear, I did this on purpose. So I absolutely did this to make Maya do that. So I set this whole thing up.
Be a one world government, you know, unless it's like, I don't know, England seems to want to own everything, and the United States, we like to do everything by proxy. So we might own you, but you know, you're still gonna have your little government that keeps you in your place because we're fucking dicks. I'm just gonna say. Hi, Andrew. Glad you came back. I'm gonna stop ranting. We're gonna listen to Jordan. He's gonna piss me off again, because and the thing if you were just like actually like progressive about it, I'd be like, yeah, finally. But no, he's going off on all this bullshit, and it's like it's frustrating because like he's there, he's like right there, and then it's just like, but then we're gonna take a hard left.
Yeah.
Fucking shit.
It's really close to the point, right? Of where the issues are
Like,
really.
I'm gonna make you think I have the point, and then I'm gonna fuck with your emotions. Yeah, assholes.
For humanity to see that reality come true. We are entering the age of Aquarius after all, and that means for the next 2,000 years, we get to learn what it means to be humanitarian and connected, and yet beautifully unique unto ourselves. Drawing wisdom from the Hermetica, Hermes specifically teaches us to let necessity follow its course, and saying that the universe won't be complete until mankind plays its part. Hermes also states, though, that part of the human path is to do all kinds of crazy and messed up things. And that's part of how we're supposed to learn who and what we really are. We learn about the soul spark lights we are by the shadow that we cast. Take World War
I don't
II,
even know
for
what that
example.
means.
Humanity
the
grew
soul
from this global
spark.
event.
What?
Countries
I
evolved.
mean, so he's talking about the soul, and in the New Age community, they think that the soul is pure energy, and it shows off as a big ball of light. But you know that you have that by the shadow that it casts. Shadow is usually talking about like an alter ego or like a darkness of self. But souls don't have that, so like I'm not really.
And I have a feeling that we're getting ready to go into some World War II apologetics here. That's like, oh, World War II helped sculpt this beautiful world that we can now live in. I feel like that's what he's about to say, which is weird.
I'm going to try to give him the benefit of the doubt because that would really be some bullshit that my brain can't handle right now. But let's see.
And matured, and we learned some pretty big lessons as a result of the horrors from the past. What lessons are we learning today?
Okay, maybe he
In
wasn't
this,
so
we can
blatant about
imagine
it.
humanity like a pendulum, swinging back and forth. Sometimes we swing it exceptionally strong on one side, and then we swing it back. It doesn't matter if humanity takes the globalist path or not, and there's wisdom in this. We are like children in the scope of our human evolution, and so much higher to climb to become
Why does she have
citizens of the
DNA on her
universe.
forehead? There's so much
No
I don't
matter what
understand.
path we take,
The mark of the beast, damn it.
we're
You know
going
how
to
this
mess it
goes.
up. That's the key.
will
Especially
mess
when
it
it comes
up.
to learning as a whole species, we're going to keep learning, and we're going to keep failing, and learning from those failings over and over until we learn how to get it right.
The planet
If we
can't take
collectively
that,
can
honey.
agree to learn
So what is he trying to say?
But we gotta just keep trying and failing and trying and failing. I said the planet can't take it. We gotta stop. We gotta figure it out. No more trying and failing. There's no try, only
No,
do.
I mean, like, we're on the brink of extinction. We've been through the trial and failures too much, actually. Oh, hey, Purple's here. Hey, Purple.
Yeah. Well, you didn't think Purple was gonna miss out on some woo busting, did ya? Is he playing Evanescence? I don't know. It sounded kind of like it, maybe.
Yeah, Purple said she used to be like a light worker or something like that. I'm kind of surprised she doesn't do more of these light type streams.
first and evolve together. Then we can break the cycle of failing as much. Until we can all see each other, learn from each other, work together collectively. Well, it's gonna have to be okay that we fall down a bit. And that's really the message here today.
He really doesn't get it. I
That
wonder if he's
everything is going to be okay.
I don't know. I've never seen any of this in his videos, but I wonder if he denies climate change.
Well, he's got this whole everything's going to be okay attitude about it. That like he just said there, everything's going to be okay. Which
And that's
is
why I'm wondering. It's just like people who think that are usually climate change deniers. I don't.
It's like this is the plan. It's
It's-
all according to the plan. It's like
It's
no, we
not
can-
going to be okay, though. It just, like, I don't understand why anybody thinks that.
Over this next year and years to come, we're going to face so many things. From climate disasters to a potential solar flare knocking out our global power for a few weeks. And not to mention however many more strains of the virus that they're going to roll out with.
Fuck you, Jordan.
But the end results? We will be renewed. These challenges will confront our hearts, our minds, our belief systems, and our tech systems.
So the one thing about this, I don't know. He says we will be renewed, and it. I don't know if he's mentioning this or not, but I've seen a number of psychics talking about. There's supposed to be something coming up, so it's like there are not like Armageddon, but like
it's
there's
supposed to be like a Carrington event, right? Like a big,
yeah, like a huge. They call it the shift, which is, I mean, I'll say their Armageddon, but it's their like big thing that wipes out most of humanity and leaves the pure at heart behind.
Do you know what the Carrington event was though?
What is
It's
that?
like it's like a solar flare. So back in like the 1850s,
Mm-hmm.
when we were just starting to do electricity and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was this solar storm, and it lit up the skies for like weeks, right? Like with auroras and stuff, because it activated the Earth's magnetic field, so that it was visible on the
Okay.
visible light spectrum all over the globe. The light with the sky was lit up, and then all the electronics, and these were early electronics, a lot of like exposed wires, like for telegraphs and stuff that were over vast expanses, totally blew all the electricity all over the northern hemisphere. And I shouldn't say all of it, like a good deal of it though, like basically wiped out technology up to a certain point that they had to rebuild a lot of things. So something like that happening now, or something
That
on
would
that
be,
scale.
yeah, that would be devastating
Yeah.
right now, because we really have a dependence on electricity. That would be interesting. I would hope. No, they're not. Well, nobody's saying what the catalyst is, but it is. I don't know. That's why I call it their Armageddon, but they call it the shift. And so during the shift, like some people have said it's going to be a pole shift, but yeah, it's this mass wave of something that comes in, and it takes humanity down to a tolerable level where we're all forced to work with nature and to rebuild societies in a better direction.
Do any of our smart people out there, maybe Brian Stevens or Titan with us, maybe one of you guys, do any of y'all know what the difference is between impact like a Carrington level event and a pole shift would be? What kind of different reactions we could expect?
So yeah, I mean, if anybody understands that, let me know. I'll send you a link because it sounds like something you might need to explain.
Yeah.
And force us to recreate them all. And the human spirit and ingenuity will come together, as it always does, in a creative expression of tomorrow's dream. If the controlling powers of greed try and constrict us, we'll continue to flow and find a new form of expression, breaking free of the limits placed upon us. When it comes down to it, no matter how far we swing the pendulum to one side or the other, excess control or excess chaos, we will always swing back, because the human spirit won't
I almost
ever
fell
let
asleep.
itself be so bound and rigid that it surrenders entirely. And because we can swing back, we en masse won't allow things to go farther than they genuinely can. So to close, I want to share a quote from Caroline Casey, who once wrote, "The all too visible forces of greed are stupidly lumbering along, dragging everything in their net towards the abyss of planetary systems collapse. But the forces of human ingenuity and artful compassion, allied with the world of the invisibles, are sprightlier, sleeker, and smarter, and they know how to dance away from the chasm. If the imaginative people can use their powers to release creation from the net, then the forces of greed can hurtle themselves into the abyss."
All right. So what that was about was there's supposed to be like a consciousness grid around the Earth, and a lot of people.
This is spirit science lore, I take
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And Jordan talks about in his first video, actually, well, the popular one that everybody, that a lot of people in the community have debunked, where he talks about quote unquote space Jews and the whole nine.
Yeah, the original series. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember it.
And towards the end of that, like he talks about like a grid, and which is really big, and then New Age community, and what it's supposed to be is like this thing, and that's like everybody is psychic, and the way that we can like we have we can read each other's minds and do all the things is because there's a grid where all thoughts go, and you can tap into it to see, and that's how we see the past and the future, and that's how we're all in one accord. They talk about like different people having the same idea for science, like simultaneously. Even though they're like in different countries, or when one person has an idea, then all of a sudden, without other people being aware of that idea, they'll all of a sudden just have the same idea, like, successively.
It spreads through this
Through this net that
global
covers.
conscious net. Yeah.
Yeah, yes. And
That's
so
kinda like-
that's what he was just referencing a moment
He
ago.
talks about the Akashic record too, which is another one of these ideas
Yeah,
like
completely
that. Where
different, but yeah, it's I haven't heard mention of it here, but yeah, he talks about that
Yeah.
a lot.
With this video,
Hi, Baltimore.
I wanted to speak to a bit of our global transformation. But one thing that wasn't discussed was what Walter Cronkite said about the necessity of a Messiah coming back. Many people believe that this is true, and not just in the Christian tradition, but in many religions around the world, and we can hold space for this. In fact, if that happened, that would be lovely. But we must also remember not to give away our power to do something about the challenges that we face in this moment by waiting for someone else to come and save us. For just as there is a belief that there will be a Messiah to come and return, so too the belief exists that we are here to learn to embody the Spirit of Christ that allows us to overcome all of the limitations of the day and step into a new reality where we, collectively, create the new golden age. The idea
Actually, I'm really glad you said that because that was actually my belief when I was in that community. And I think I've talked to you a lot about like keeping a lot of the beliefs that I used to have, just kind of like reworking them. But
Yeah.
it was really big in the communities I was in. It's just like, no, you can't have another Jesus or another Martin Luther King because look at what they do to those figures. It has to be going forward. We're not going. We like
As a
the
species,
powers
yeah.
that be. No, the powers that be, the people that send
Oh,
us to Earth, aren't going
okay.
to allow that a savior anymore. We have to be our own saviors because having one savior just makes for one martyr, and then we spend too long trying to catch up to the ideas that one person had. But if we all don the idea, then together we can move forward with a more progressive, building on a more progressive world. And
Hmm.
po- even politically, I've been saying that. Like I feel like everybody, they're getting mad at Bernie, they're getting mad at AOC, they're getting mad at Biden, and I'm like, we don't, especially in America, we don't have a system where one person can be a savior. Like,
And they can't be an extremist either. You don't get anything done as an extremist.
right, right. Our system is set to work where we have to work together, and I love that because, like, you don't have to be a martyr. Like, let's just say I had the best ideas in the world. Well, okay, now, I'm gone, and it could be anything from a heart attack to a car accident. Like, somebody doesn't have to want me dead. That's just going to happen eventually, right? Um, so I can't be the only one with all the ideas. We need to come to a consensus and move in the direction that we all want to be in. And having one person, it's lazy. It's really lazy. It's like I just want to sit at home and watch my cat videos, and I want you to do all the work to make me happy, which is insanely selfish. So I mean, I don't know. I'll give credit where it's due. I do like this point, because it matches my own, and I think it is.
Well, like you said, he comes really close on a lot of these points. Like when he got to a certain up until a certain point, I was agreeing with him in full. So he's not always. Where he takes these violent twists in his belief system just
Right.
blows my mind.
Yeah, well, I
Oh,
mean, like, and what he's saying here is like, okay, we're not going to have a Christ. We had a Christ. He established the Christ consciousness. It's like, I can't say I agree with him completely there, but I will take the sentiments, and I can agree with a lot of it.
yeah, and they are talking about his hood in the side chat. Or in the live chat. I do want to say that yeah, the hood is required if you're going to talk about mystical stuff at all. So
But
that's
how the fuck are you going to lead a magical cult without a hood?
you don't put it on upside down because your friends won't tell you about it.
Right, right. Make sure you get that right, and don't go around any police. They hate that. Sound advice, people.
Now, you might already know this, but I created
Okay, so now he's going to show,
Yeah.
and I'm not here for that.
Right. Yeah. We don't. We already picked out what we're gonna watch of your stuff, Jordan. So that's cool. We're gonna bounce real quick and go refill our drinks, and we'll be right back.
We're going to go back to spirit science because
Now we're gonna find out what a soul is. Let's finally find out what a soul is.
I know. Riveting.
Whatever you are physically, male or female, strong or weak, ill or healthy, all those things matter less than what your heart contains. All those other things, they're the glass that contains the lamp, but you are the light inside. Today we're diving into the core of our experience here on Earth, exploring the very thing that arguably connects us all and makes us who we are. Or in less dramatic wording, we're going to look at the first half of our channel name, spirit. Now, quick disclaimer, practically every culture in the world shares some concept of a soul or spiritual essence, and many make that distinction between a physical material body and an immaterial divine essence. As such, we can only cover so much in one video, but if you have a concept of the soul from your own culture, drop it below and start a conversation in the comments. Also, today we want to give you a free download of the Awakening Meditation. You can grab a copy using the links in the description.
Some
and you can
shilling.
work with your-
Yeah, we're not going to stick around for the shilling. We'll see what he has to say about his soul.
Lesson 56:1. What is a soul?
So, the soul, huh? That thing that basically every culture shares some understanding of, and yet isn't considered real by mainstream science. Everyone has talked about it at some point, from ancient philosophers to Instagram gurus, and most of us have probably some idea of what it is. Even scientists have used the term soul, metaphorically at least, to describe the essential nature of a subject. But what is it, really? What does it look like? Does it float around like a ghost on Halloween? Is it something inside of our bodies, around us, or off somewhere else? And what about our own depiction from the balance card in Patch Tarot? If you've ever asked anything like this, then you're actually thinking in line with some of the greatest philosophers of antiquity. In the Western world, our
I was actually in
understanding comes
Answers in
mostly from the Greek
Atheism
mystery schools.
side chat
The
today
soul,
talking
known
about
in
just this.
What about?
The soul. They were reviewing. They had James Apperson on there, and they were reviewing the guy that was in what was his name, Eric something, who was on Bread of Life,
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
talking about the soul.
Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of something else. She had somebody. She had an evolutionary. She had a Christian evolutionary scientist, biologist, something he did, which I thought was interesting. I caught bits and pieces of Answers and Atheism stream this morning, but I don't know. I was getting ready for my stream earlier this morning,
Hmm.
so I really wasn't following along. Did Bede and James determine what
Uh,
a soul was?
well, they no they ribbed this guy pretty hard for dancing around because he's saying it was a substance, but it's a non-substance or something. It's
It's a
just really
substance. Is that like a thing?
it's got to be a
Soul, it's a thing.
substance, right?
Uh,
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying about Peter when he said, "Oh, I'll make a video defining what a kind is," and I'm like, he's like
yeah.
he had sorts and types around it. It's like okay, there you go. Add some sorts and types in there, and you're good to go. Let's see what Jordan thinks though about it.
I something tells me we're not going to get much more than that out of him, but I'm willing to listen.
As psyche is the immaterial essence of ourself and is the force behind everything from reason and logic, character, feeling, consciousness.
So wait, reason, logic, character, feeling, consciousness, memory, perception. So these are aspects of the soul, right? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, I'm I guess these are properties of the soul.
Okay. So is this how you know you have a soul?
Take it back to about 2 minutes and let's listen to him again.
Okay, we're at
There,
16.
there you go, right there.
And is the force behind everything from reason and logic, character, feeling, consciousness, memory, and even perception. For the
It's
most
the
part,
force
the Greeks
behind
used
it.
the word "ensoul"
Ah.
to represent the concept of being alive, indicating that the earliest surviving Western philosophical view of the self believed that the soul gave the body life. This idea is echoed in the Greek and Latin words for it as well, with the Latin anima meaning breath, while the Greek word psyche comes from a verb meaning to cool or blow associated with wind. This is literally the etymology today. The root of the word spirit is breath. Interestingly, Plato believed that even after death, the soul exists and is able to think. He believed that while our physical bodies die, our soul is reborn into new bodies every time, a process known as metempsychosis, or the transmigration of soul.
So this is like the Eastern,
Platonism, yeah.
yeah, like the what do you call it? Well, it's like the Eastern philosophy of the soul, where you get to reincarnate. Kind of is that the
Yeah, well, transmigration of the soul. Yeah, there's different levels of existence as
well,
a soul
yeah.
through.
Extremely similar to reincarnation. But Plato didn't invent the idea of metempsychosis. Actually, the earliest Greek philosopher to talk about it was Pherecydes of Syros around 543 BC. But it
Well, this is interesting because, like, in Eastern philosophy, they have concepts of this that predate all of that. So I'm surprised he's just talking about.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. Well, I shouldn't say I'm sure. He probably because he makes that he'll rope in any philosopher he thinks he can wiggle into his worldview. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's got videos on them too, if they have videos about these types of ideas with souls and things.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
his
th-
audience is pretty racist too. Maybe he thinks if he talks about brown people for too long, they'll get pissed off and not watch the video.
Yeah, that's true too. Especially the great thinkers of the brown people, because that makes white people very uncomfortable.
Racist, yeah, bigots.
Hmm.
Jordan's peeps hate the Browns. Oh my God, it's really and Jews. Let's not forget the Jews.
actually was popularized by Pythagoras, who created societies and schools to teach it. In the pre-Pythagorean teachings, the soul was present but lifeless, and simply returned to the other world and had no hope of reincarnation. In Platonic thought, though, the soul had three parts: the logos, which was the mind and part that allowed us to engage in logic and reason, located in the head; the masculine aspect, thymos, which was responsible for emotion and willpower and found in the chest; and finally, the feminine eros, which was responsible for love and desire, found in the stomach. According to Plato's ideas, this trinity soul was similar to a state's class system in that, to work properly, each part needs to contribute to the wider whole. However, in contrast, Aristotle believed that only the logos got reincarnated and put forth the belief of different kinds of souls: plants, animals, and humans, which is something we covered in our first science video. Now, we don't really know how this westernized reincarnation idea came about in Greece, since Pythagoras likely didn't get it from Egypt, but some historians have argued that it has its roots in Orphic tradition. You know, that
You
story of
just
the guy
said
with the harp
you
going
just
down into
mentioned that.
What do you mean?
You just
part?
mentioned who he got these ideas from, the Eastern philosophies that.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he's talking about that or like because like we've had trade like forever, and it was very common for ideas to become intermixed that way. But I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what to say to that because I honestly don't know the answer. I know that I've seen I don't know, like when you're looking at different religions, it's like, oh, they were thinking about this over here, and so you can kind of like jump around and know that they were getting concepts from a
Right.
different place, but like how, like I don't know, I kind of feel like you need to be like a historian, and that is not me. So, if anybody knows in the chat, let me know.
The underworld to bring back his dead girlfriend. You see, Orpheus is said to have taught that the soul continues its journey after death, alternating between a separate, untethered existence and a fresh reincarnation, which is what laid the groundwork for the later Eleusinian mysteries. Amazingly, during the Roman conquests of Gaul later on, both Polyhistor and Julius Caesar noticed that the Celtic Druids had an extremely similar belief about the soul in Europe, stating that the Pythagorean doctrine prevails among the Gauls' teachings, that souls are immortal, and that after a fixed number of years they will enter into another body, with Caesar even arguing that the main object of all education, among the Druids at least, is to imbue their scholars with a firm belief in the indestructibility of the human soul, which, according to their belief, merely passes at death from one tenement to
What?
another.
You mean
Naturally,
promising people an afterlife where they'll be rewarded if they do things to please the gods in this life is a good way to control the masses and universally practiced? You don't say.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny that they mentioned that because I know in the community I was in, and I don't want to talk about like the New Age community like it's a monolith because it's clearly not.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Brian. Brian knows everything. I like their humanist approach to it. So there's an understanding that there's soul, and the point of life is to learn as much as you can, and to be empathetic and to help others and yada yada, because you want to. Right now, we're young souls. If you're in a body, you're a young soul, and the goal is to incarnate out of having to live a life, and you do that through learning and good works and empathy, yada yada.
Or just by accepting Jesus as your Lord and Savior, depending on which denomination of faith you follow.
Oddly, that's a choice that you can make or not.
Yeah.
They don't punish you. Actually, there is no hell concept. So you didn't want to believe in
Magnetic
something.
crystal.
Bye. If you don't want to believe in something, you don't have to. This wasn't your life to learn that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you would also want to try to make, what's the name of that theory where it's like the best world would be the world where you were designed, where, if you were you could be incarnated into any of the groups. So you wouldn't want to make them all as equal and prosperous as possible so that, no matter where you were born, you were set up to succeed.
It's like a utopian society right there.
Yeah, I forget the name of him. I know Mark Reed. If Mark Reed's still here, he was just talking about it in one of his streams. But it's kind of like, it's kind of that.
Ignorance.
Yeah, that. Thank you. It was kind of like that, where you want to help everybody be as prosperous as possible because, you could be, in your very next life, you could be an Ethiopian poster child, So
Yeah.
you want to make sure that, no matter where your soul lands in the next life, you are set up for success. So it would make no sense to like beat someone. Well, okay, you would not want to beat someone to death because they also believe that you have to go through, so you die and you have to go back through the life. And so for everybody that you've hurt, you have to go back and experience their pain.
Yeah.
So if I'm like crazy KKK Nazi Hitler fan and I thought it was funny to lynch black people, well, okay, part of my life learning process, like when I'm going over the next life, I have to like be in that news. I have to like, if I was burning witches, I have to be on that stake and I have to experience what she did. And the purpose of all of that is empathy so that you're not hurting people when you go back into the next life. And so they'll say that that's why we are growing to be a more tolerant society than, as generations progress. It's because, all of us are like empathy is the goal. And so as we grow as souls, like our soul species, because animals are a different class of souls, but our soul class grows, we're more empathetic and, we're
So
doing,
you did not.
we're less comfortable with harm.
You believe that you were always going to be locked into a human. Then.
Yes.
How did that work in with like evolution and stuff? Were we always locked into humans, or were we Australopithecines before with our souls?
Okay. Yeah, no, I remember having that question. And not a lot of answers on that.
I didn't figure there would be, but
because again, animals have different souls. So when we were like back, whatever that little rat-like thing that we were when the dinosaurs were around, that would have been a different class of souls that entered that. And so once we got to be
a human. You couldn't go back to
human
being
like,
another
yeah,
primate.
then you would have
okay.
to infuse a different soul. And when I don't know how to answer, when was my mother's soul an animal and I was a human soul, and what, was that, that old Christian trope, like, it's like,
Yeah.
well, when was,
When did a dog
how
produce
do
a
you bring a date
non-dog?
home and your parents are monkeys? Like,
Yeah. When did a
like it,
human soul produce a non-human soul?
right. Yeah, it wasn't like that, but that was the thought process behind it is, you have to have souls have to match the type of body that they're in. So you can't incarnate as a fish because it's not a match for, I don't know, reasons. I don't know. Have I derailed this enough?
We had to have our
Scholars argue
sidebar.
that
Just saying. Well, I mean, because spirit science is weird. I generally understand what he's talking about, as embarrassing as that is. But just because I threw myself into like everything else because I'm like, well, what else are they lying about? I wasn't raised with science denial, so like the methodology to which, like that scientific method, it's like, okay, first you have this hypothesis and then you like go look for facts and, all the things that we did in science class, again, as a Catholic, was kind of the spirit that I brought into myth bunking. So again, you can't do that through watching YouTube videos, but like understanding, what's valid information, what's not, you can kind of navigate through. And so, yeah, I was able to dispel space juice and hollow earth and flat earth and hollow moon. And I haven't been able to debunk time travel, which is a really big thing in the New Age community. Science just is not helping me there. I have it on good authority that it's not a thing, but I don't know. Keeping my eyes open to
Or is time travel the thing? Because
I don't know.
like we see it on the quantum level.
such similar beliefs are a descendant of Proto-Indo-European religious thought, but that's a whole video on its own. But what of other cultures? Well, let's take a trip to the desert. Throughout their history, Egyptians believed that there were 9 or so different parts to the human soul. First, you had the Khet, the physical body, translating as the sum of bodily parts. Khet was super important to allow the soul to incarnate and have intelligence, as well as be judged by Anubis upon death, which is why they placed such a big emphasis on preserving the body. Before a person could be judged by the gods, they had to be awakened through a series of spells designed to reanimate them, something called the opening of the mouth ceremony. If this process was completed, then the Sa would be created, which was kind of like a spiritual body double, like you see in Doctor Strange. The Sa was what allowed you to interact with the Duat, or astral, and talk to the gods. However, it also had a negative aspect and was the part of the soul that could come back to haunt people if they got screwed over in life. Another major part was the heart.
That's
known
interesting.
in
I haven't
Egyptian
heard that
as the-
one. And
So,
this
yeah.
is actually another one. I've heard people talk about the concave Earth, like in passing, but like, well, just the term, honestly. Do you have any idea what that is?
It's that the Earth looks like a bowl. Yeah, I've heard that theory.
And how does
It's,
that work?
Not very well.
I guess there's a good reason that it hasn't taken off, huh?
Yeah, there's an idea that we're on the inside of the Earth too, and that the stars that we're seeing are actually cities and stuff on the.
Oh, I thought that's what happened on the inside of a hollow Earth.
Yeah, you would think, right? A hollow Earth that you'd be looking across, like looking up, and you'd be seeing the cities.
Yeah,
on the
like
other
you
side of the
could see
world.
that. Yeah. That supposedly happens in a hollow Earth. Well, it depends on the model of a hollow Earth.
Yeah.
The hollow Earth, where it's just like the crust, and then there's the Earth's core, which is apparently their sun, and then there's, I don't know,
Everything
Illuminati.
lives up the inside
cities.
wall here.
Yeah, the Illuminati cities, or all the rest of it. And then some people are like, well, and so when people were like, no, that can't physically happen. How do you have, like, how does that work? How does physics work with that structure of the Earth? And they're like, okay. So it's not completely hollow, but it's kind of hollow. And one of the layers is hollow, and then that's where the cities are. And I'm like, wow, you guys really love your thing. I don't know, Spooky. I hope that answers your question. Not my tangent, but Breeze.
the Ib. Depending on the school, they often believed that the heart was the seat of emotion, thought, willpower, and intention. Something that is super cool, a lot of Egyptian words and phrases incorporate the word Ib. For instance, in the teachings of Ptahhotep, there is a line often translated as, do not vent your anger, but more literally the translation would be, do not wash your heart. And when it came to adjectives, they usually made no distinction between the mind and the heart with regard to emotion or thought. Next, we had the most famous aspect, the Ka. This was one probably most similar to the Greek psyche, since it was considered the
Okay.
vital essence or breath that distinguished between a living person and a dead one.
Did you want to say
It was
something here?
believed that the Ka was breathed into you at birth and left you upon death. Interestingly,
Just
this
that
was the
that's,
aspect of the soul people gave offerings to in little Ka shrines in
I'm
Tune.
sorry, what were you saying?
I think that's word finds its way into the Old Testament too. The Ka.
It does. Well, the Old Testament has a lot of Egyptian. It borrows a lot from
Egyptian
Egyptian
mythology,
myths. Yeah.
especially creation myths. Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised, but not being able to read modern or ancient Egyptian or Hebrew.
Yeah.
I,
Either language. Yeah.
but you know,
I'm
if you
going off
ever
what other people have told me.
right, totally going off of my conversations with Dr. Josh and my various Myth Vision and Gnostic Informant videos here. Bart Ehrman also great, but I I would not be surprised if that were true. But I don't know if you ever get Megan Lewis into a stream, that would be a great question for her. She might have more information than I would.
Yeah, we had to push that back, by the way, for people who are wondering what happened with that.
And so, are you going live with that this week?
It will be on the 12th of March is when we're going to redo it. We've got it rescheduled for. So, yep, I will still be annoying Megan. It's just going to be pushed back.
All right. And that's Megan from Digital Hammurabi. She'll be in pre-show High Science on the 12th of March. So everybody mark your calendars.
Yep.
As it was thought that it could eat and drink the spiritual essence of stuff. Closely related to the Ka, there was the Ba. This was probably the closest in nature to what we would call the ego today. It made up everything that made us an individual and unique, such as our self-identity and individuality. Where things get a bit weird, though, is that random objects could also have a Ba, with a lot of people referring to their tombs as their own Ba. It was an aspect of yourself left behind after death, kind of like a living memory. However, Egyptologist Louis Vico Zabkar argues that the Ba is not just a part of the person, but is the person themselves. Funnily enough, when it's used in the plural, Ba'u, it meant reputation or power. Oh, it was also depicted as a U-headed bird. So, yeah, imagine astral birdseed. Next was the Shut, or shadow self. This is a weird one, because it didn't necessarily mean the bad parts of our soul, but more like something that was always there and thought to represent some aspect of yourself. Sometimes a statue or picture of yourself was said to contain your shadow. Linked in with this is another part known as the Sechem. Literally, it meant power or force, but outside of that, we don't really know much about it. The last two aspects of the soul were Ren and Ak. Ren is a word that meant name, and in Egyptian thought, you would remain immortal as long as people spoke your name or remembered you. So when we found Tutankhamun in 1922, Howard Carter probably accidentally woke him up on the astral. Your soul name was the place where
What?
memories were stored, as well as all
Oh,
of your
because he
experience.
remembered his name. But wouldn't his name have been remembered in records anyway for him to have known who Tutankhamun was, for him to have known about the boy king?
No, like the Egyptians believe that you lived as long as people remembered you. So what he's saying is that when Tutankhamun, yeah, there's a period where Tutankhamun was erased from history. And so at the point of time that he was forgotten, he died. And so when...
Oh, these bitches are going to be on the internet forever. So,
Yeah, no, he'll live forever now because his name has been resurrected. And so now he lives. And that's what he's saying.
So that's why a lot of Egyptian monuments have names written all over them, because writing them down helped to keep your soul alive. As a result, erasing someone's name was one of the worst things you could do, which is actually what happened to Akhenaten and Tutankhamun. The final aspect is the most interesting. The Ak was one of the magical aspects of the soul and represented the part of you that became a being of pure light after death. While it was actually thought to be responsible for thinking, it was also thought and feeling personified as an actual entity, and as a result, it would only emerge once the Ka and Ba, the other aspects of your soul, came together and were unified into a complete whole after completing their journey. Naturally, there's so much more to Egyptian philosophy, so we encourage you to look into it yourself.
That's actually interesting because it kind of hints at the Christian aspect of the soul, where there's like a spirit and a soul, and I think it's on Judgment Day, is it the soul is supposed to rise up from the grave and merge with the spirit and stand before God?
I know the soul is what's supposed to rise up on Judgment Day. I didn't know about merging with the spirit. Does it merge with the individual's spirit too, or does it merge with like the Holy Spirit?
No, there's. So I don't want to say, maybe it is an antiquated thing. I know that for Catholics, it was a big deal, and it might be for Jews too. I don't quote me on that.
So when the
But
Catholics,
like your
with the
soul goes into the ground with the body, and I don't know. I guess the spirits, but I don't know. Nobody's been able to answer me on what actually happens with the spirit. But they're supposed to merge, and that's the reason that Catholics don't believe in cremation, because if on Judgment Day your soul can't rise out of the body if there's no body, like you're essentially destroying the body and the soul because they're together.
Is that why they burned witches?
I never really thought about that. I just assumed it was because they were evil fucks, but maybe.
Yeah, make sure they didn't come back and do
Yeah.
witchy stuff. Yeah.
Sure, why not?
If we continue our journey into ancient traditions and head further east for a moment, we find a similar idea of multiple souls in Chinese traditional religions. In Chinese myth, an individual was said to have a cloud soul and a white soul. The cloud, known as Hun in Chinese, no, not the villains from Mulan, was your immaterial, spiritual, and yang soul which left the body after death. But the white soul, the Po, was your physical yin self. In Taoism, there's sometimes a belief that we had 3 Hun souls and 7 Po souls. We actually find a similar idea to Plato and Aristotle in that the Hun controlled our intellect and reasoning, whereas the Po was our animalistic soul that controlled our physical growth. While the Hun looked similar to us, with a body, the Po was said to be a disc shaped like the moon. In fact, one of the main goals of Taoist alchemy was to return the Hun and Po back to the body, standing on the belief that in most cases, the Po, our physical desires, controlled the Hun, our true spiritual self, which led to decay and death eventually. However, through breath and alchemy, we could reverse the respective roles so that our true soul
Reverse
could
card,
control
Nuno.
our physical self,
I know,
which is what
right?
led to immortality. Now, we've also covered the discussion of the soul in Buddhism before in our episode about the ego, so we won't go much into it here. But essentially, in contrast to Vedic and Hindu traditions that believed we had a true higher self that stayed with us throughout our lifetimes, known as the Atman, many early Buddhist schools adopted the philosophy of anatta, a non-self teaching, a belief that there is no unchanging, permanent self, soul, or essence in anything. While the Buddha often argued that we didn't have a soul, there were still discussions of karma and rebirth, so texts that talked about a soul were often two-sided. Either they directly denied the existence of a true self or
That image
soul,
matched your
or they
background,
questioned
too.
the nature of
Well, oh, yeah, Jordan. God.
the material self. As a result, the Buddha was supposedly critical of saying the soul was responsible for karma or reincarnation, instead depending on the school of thought that was a form of universal energy that made its way back into bodies, but even that is up for debate. Peter Harvey has pointed out a paradox in Buddhist literature that some early texts describe the achievement of nirvana as gaining a mature self that knows everything as selfless. There is also this idea of the citta, which is described as the mind or heart and emotional nature of a person, but something known as the great self is mentioned in the suttas, meaning a mind which is neither at the mercy of outside stimuli nor its own moods, neither scattered nor diffused, but imbued with self-control. In other words, one of the primary goals of the early Buddhist suttas was the development of self towards a selfless state, where you realize that there is no self or I am nature in the universe. Ultimately, the Buddhist idea of the soul is rooted in anicca, a belief that change is the only constant and nothing remains permanent. So, with all of that said, it seems like we're out of time for today.
That is so fucking crazy. I mean, it's an interesting lesson in like the history of the soul. All right,
I did
real-
learn some new words and stuff, so yeah, I guess that was like Egyptian words.
I mean, yeah, that happened. But okay, Brie, what is a soul?
Ba, ba ma.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like we're gonna learn what a soul is today. Here's what other people think a soul is. Oh shit, we ran out of time. Guess
Yeah.
you're gonna have to watch my next video, in which that I can get ad
Get
revenue
your-
off of.
Get your lured in. Yeah.
And I do love learning about new stuff, and I definitely did
Yeah.
here.
Did you learn
And I
about the
think it was
ba and
really-
the ma?
No, I actually like Egyptian, like ancient Egyptian religions, and I don't like the terms actually never stick with me, but yeah, the concepts I'm familiar with, and actually he could have fleshed that out a lot more than he did. So, I'll applaud him on keeping this video down to like just under 14 minutes because he went overtime and simplifying shit. But like, if I had to do an 8th grade presentation on the history of soul, like this would be awesome.
Yeah.
But if I actually wanted to understand, like, okay, I'm a new believer in spirit science, and I'm trying to figure out what the fuck you're talking about. And I click on this video. What did I learn?
Huh?
Like, what did I learn? What do I know about my soul? Like that, like I understand what other people thought the soul was, and
Yeah.
which seems to evolve through history and cultures and time. But like,
He even goes into that. He's like, oh, these people thought this about the soul, and those people thought that about the soul. So he's acknowledging that it's inconsistent.
yeah. Where's the soul? Well, a lot of people have thought a lot of things, and it's inconsistent and incompatible with each other. And oh God, would you look at the time?
Yeah.
um,
I think that's the spirit science formula, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Always leaving one and more. I guess it's good old Jordan. All right, those were our 2 videos. And we had a really good turnout today. No, I want to thank people for coming, sticking with us. Bree, what do you got going on this week? I have videos like almost every day, right?
Yep. Got Monday, you're going to get some Hive Science, and then Wednesday is Creation Watch at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Friday is Cryptic Corner at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then, of course, Saturday morning, we are live from the Hive.
We'll be back this time next week with Dr. Tapioca Weasel, who is busy this week. And Bree, I really appreciate you for coming in.
Always happy to step in.